Coming off of what I think is a genuinely bad episode, we have Keeping It Together. One of the most, influential, prolific, game-changing episodes of the second season, and it's pretty freaking early in the second season. For every note that Rising Tides, Crashing Skies hit wrong, this one hits every note right. It starts out with an absolutely adorable scene between Steven and the Gems just chilling out at home, doing domestic stuff, and I can't even begin to express all the adorableness that exists within this scene. It's so good. Just getting to see them be a family for a couple of minutes. And there's jokes that are subtle and yet still hilarious. We get to see some great interactions between everybody. And most importantly, when they do start talking about the eventual plot of the episode, that being returning to the kindergarten to see if Peridot is still intending to turn it on, which is what they thought she was up to, you even get a subtle moment of character development for Amethyst where you can tell she starts to go to that same place that she used to go to when people talked about the kindergarten, but then she just kind of thinks about it and realizes, hey, I'm past that. Let's not dwell on that anymore. So that was great, and then the Gems go to leave and Steven starts to stay, but they invite him along because he hasn't quite realized yet that they now consider him a full member of the team. And then how delighted he is by that. As he's jumping onto the warp, and then once they arrive in the kindergarten, he's trying to give so much of his attention to what Garnet's saying and be a legitimate member of the team. It's just so good. And then Peridot shows up, and Steven tries to lie to her that the others aren't there, but he can't do it because he's Steven. And they have their first real altercation with Peridot, and she's basically just concerned with running away, but she's still able to counter most of their moves, which is really interesting, and it makes you want to see Peridot actually fight back against them, which we do get to see later, and it's just as good as you might expect from this scene. That's fantastic setup, and I absolutely adore it. But this is where the episode gets really good, because as Garnet and Steven go to explore the Perry Cave, which was where Peridot came out of, and try to figure out what exactly it is that she's doing, because they kind of realize that she's been here for a while. If she wanted to turn the injectors back on and start up the kindergarten, she would have, but she didn't. In fact, she has flat out told them that she's already done what she needed to do. She's already finished. So they go down, and this is where they find the fusion experiments. And anyone who's watched further into the show than this episode, which is, let's face it, it's all of you, you know what the fusion experiments are. But I want you to think back to when you first saw them. How did they make you feel? Because I bet while you were very sympathetic of Garnet's reaction to the fusion experiments, you didn't feel quite so horrified by them yourself. Because quite frankly, gems are very different than humans. So seeing two gemstones forced to fuse together at the gemstone level, not at the body level, but at the gemstone level, forever, and only able to make crude amalgamations of limbs, it's creepy, but it doesn't have that same visceral effect on a human that it would on someone like Garnet. So think back. Imagine when you first saw the fusion experiments, and try to think of it this way. A guy on Tumblr actually put it this way. His name's Lore Weaver Universe, and he live blogs the episodes as he watches them, and he put it like this. I'm going to paraphrase a little bit. Imagine that you see a piece of armor lying on the ground, like knight's armor. Two gauntlets fused together at the wrist. You look at that, you pick it up, you say, wow, this is strange. I don't understand why anyone would do this. But then, out of the armor falls two hands fused together at the wrist. And realize that when Garnet poofed that first fusion experiment and saw the gemstones mashed together that way, that's what she was seeing. Because to a gem, the gemstone is the body, and the body is the armor that they wear to protect it. To a gem, this is body horror to its most extreme. And not only that, but Garnet is herself a fusion, and it is in this moment that she realizes that this is what Homeworld thinks of her kind. And then above and beyond that, she actually recognizes these gems. She immediately realizes that they're crystal gems, who they weren't able to find after certain battles, who seem to have been forced to fuse by being shoved in the ground together. So not only is this horrifying from a third-party perspective, but these are people she knew. It's no wonder that Garnet almost falls apart. It's no wonder that it takes Steven appealing to the part of the fusion that is Garnet herself, the person that he has known and grown up with, that is what brings her back long enough to defeat the giant hand fusion experiment and save their lives. And it's no wonder that she desperately needs to know that all of these things are contained, that she needs to know that they are all bubbled and stored safely away, where they can't hurt anyone and where they can't hurt anymore. This scene is so simple in its basic execution, but the more I watch it, the more meaningful I feel like it becomes, because no matter how many times I watch it, the impact of it never diminishes. It's that good. And that's not even the last great scene in this episode. Steven, all throughout the episode, has been bugging Garnet to know more about fusion, to know more about Ruby and Sapphire, and at the end, she finally gives it to him, and she gives this really great sort of monologue-y description of what exactly it means to be a fusion, what it feels like, what it feels like when you unfuse and let your components go and be themselves for a while, and how it specifically feels and what it specifically means for Ruby, Sapphire, and Garnet. And it's a scene that I can't even accurately convey how good it is here. You just have to go watch it. Overall, Keeping It Together is, I think, one of the very best episodes of this show, hands down, top 5. If you are somehow a Steven Universe fan and haven't seen this episode, first of all, what's your problem? And second of all, go watch it now. Everyone, I think, should watch this episode. It's just that good. It's that good that it blinds me to the fact that some people just don't like Steven Universe at all, and I would recommend it to anybody. But guys, what did you think of this episode? Let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below. Either way, this is BenAJ22, and I will talk to you guys later.
The chore wheel idea you had fell apart fast.
Wasn't me.
I just really enjoy doing all of those things.